Entering the world of the 0.95.
Ooh.
Is it like, I've been thinking about this, an aircraft in the sky goes really fast and suddenly hits a sound barrier and boom, you know, it's the sonic boom. That's breaking the sound barrier, right? So it's all nice and fast. You're happy with
Probably
speed.
nothing like that, to be honest.
Broke some, you know, a barrier.
It broke through.
So,
right.
Does the 0.95s break the light barrier?
Right.
See what I did there?
Not really, no, but...
Oh, right. So there hasn't been many lenses. Nikon brought out the 0.95 a while ago, actually. That 55 0.95 manual focus lens.
Right.
But now the Chinese manufacturers and other manufacturers have started to make manual versions that are quite small and relatively light and cheap.
Right. Why are they manual, do you think? Is there a reason that manual at 0.95 or it just makes it cheaper to...
It's a good question. The 51.2 is 1.2 and it's obviously it's huge, but it's autofocus. 0.95 to 1.2.
Yeah.
Is that much of a leap? Really?
And why do they get bigger than when somebody else makes one? 0.95.
Standard size lens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's not as good.
It's really confusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the build quality. So this is a heavy lens.
It is.
Oh, just look at the weight. 820 grams.
I mean, why is it? Because it's not huge. Why is it then? What is it? Is it all metal construction? And
yeah, I mean, it's a fully metal lens, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would say. Which I wish it kind of wasn't. Because I want it to be lighter.
Yeah.
Because on my ZF, I find it too heavy. It's really, it's tipping forward. You have to kind of hold it, at least with two hands, the grip. With the Z8, it's or the Z6, we found it manageable, didn't we, I think?
Yeah, I think you get used to it, don't you, whatever it is, but...
Clips.
Yeah.
Clickable aperture, which we've wanted for a long time from these lenses.
Yeah, it's got the old hyper focal length markings, which is very useful for zone focusing.
No switches or buttons on it, of course.
No.
What I don't like is this weird... extendable. I like
lens hood.
You think it's a good idea in the first place, but the problem is it kind of goes in between a lot of times.
But you have to extend it to be able to see the dot to put your aperture on.
Sharpness. So minimal focal distance at 0.95, it's really, really soft and bad quality. It's foggy. It's like using an old DSLR lens that you buy for 40 quid.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're looking through some kind of foggy, hazy...
Milk bottle.
Yeah. So it has that. For F2, that all goes away.
Right.
And it's actually very sharp, as sharp as my 1.8. And you have the brilliant idea of pressing the record button.
Is when you're in photo mode.
Yes.
There is the video record button has no use, but you can actually assign functions to it.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those is like to punch in and punch out. So it's right by the shutter button. So if you press it once, it zooms into. You can set it to either 1:1 or.
We have different ways of doing it. I think I use the LCD screen.
Yeah.
With the 100% zoom.
Yeah.
Turned off a focus peaking because it got in the way of the thing, and I was okay with that. I could see it just about 9.5, and it was manageable for me to do.
Yeah.
I looked at results. Probably 40% of them out of focus.
Yeah.
When we're doing close-up portraits of each other.
Yeah, they were.
notice the fogging
No.
so much.
No.
Maybe it just helps the background a
They
bit
worked
more.
out quite well, I think.
So how often are you going to crop in 100% and see this fogging wide open? I don't know, but it is there. From the results and when you're using it, do you think that this has, the 0.95, has its own look? And do you think the compression is that much noticeable from using even a 1.8?
I think you sent me the photos and you hadn't edited them purposely, had you?
No.
So they were just straight out of camera. And to be honest, I was quite surprised. I thought it had quite a nice look about it. Interesting look. It'd be hard to define, but it was a nice look.
Because the lens has a few failures, so like it has a bit of vignetting around the sides,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
wide open.
Yeah.
But even my 51.2 has some vignetting.
Right.
It does have some distortion. It has a barrel distortion,
Yeah.
so it goes a bit out in certain places. And it does have chromatic aberration, of course, because it's cheaper lens. But all these things, maybe they're not so much faults as they add towards its character. Is that being a bit generous, do you think? Or?
Well, that's what people say when something's not very good.
Yes, a bokeh. It's all about the bokeh balls, isn't it? Who cares about
balls.
sharpness or anything else?
Yeah.
It's about bokeh. So I've done that on the intro. I've showed you that I was kind of moving around the light. So on the edges, it goes to a rugby ball shape, cat's
shape,
eye
yeah.
rugby ball. In the centre, it goes more round.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good demonstration about what it kind of
Very
does.
good. Well done.
Yeah, I kind of stumbled on that. It's accidental, but
Of
very
course.
good. So it does have character. Is it enough, though, do you think? I suppose we're on to the summary now, isn't it? That is it really worth the comparison to a 1.8 or the 1.2? Do you think there's... Because I know you've been kind of an advocate in the past when I've compared these fast aperture lenses. You've kind of been a bit more pragmatic, say 1.8's enough. Clients won't tell the difference. I'm happy with the compression.
Well, what's the price on this compared to those, for instance?
Well, how much do you think it is?
So, your 1.2 is like £1 million, isn't it?
I got it for 1,600 on a deal.
51.8 is what, probably 500 or
450.
450? 500. Okay. So I'd say this is probably 250.
360.
Oh, okay. All right. As it's fairly closely priced then to the 51.8, if there's only say 100 quid in it, you're not. It sort of comes down to what you're looking for, what you're going to use it for, etc., isn't it? Because you're not. I would certainly. I mean, 51.8 is a brilliant lens. There's no way I would save 100 quid and buy that just because I thought, well, I'm saving 100 quid. However, if I would, if I was interested in 0.95 and manual focus and having a bit of character to the lens and all the rest of it, it depends as always, it depends what you're going to use it for.
Like we were saying when we were walking around, it's a completely different style of photography you're doing. Like for a wedding, I wouldn't use this for a wedding.
No.
My 1.2 is fast focus and I have the depth of field and everything all in one. But I really enjoyed using manual focus for pleasure and kind of getting more involved in the photography and getting that extra tiny bit of look. Because compared to the 1.2, it is a bit more compressed in the background, a tiny bit, but no one really noticed the difference from a 0.95 to 1.2. So like you said, it's for a different style of shoot. It's quite fun, has a good look about it. But is it for you? Does it get your stamp of approval? And would you be interested in a lens like this in the future?
I think it's a really niche market, but I'm not going to go and spend 360 quid on a 0.95 manual focus lens that is a little bit iffy around the corners.
For me, I would. I was actually...
I thought you would.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Prime. I love
Mr.
fast
Prime.
glass. I love getting close to the subject as possible, and that's how you maximise the look of this lens. You try and get your minimal focal distance and blow out the background as much as you can. And I love doing that. And I really enjoyed the experience and the separation of difference, because with my weddings and events, beautiful look. But with this, I had to take my time with it. As a retro look, it kind of has its own different style and feel, and I loved the experience. I was kind of looking at things like everyday objects, thinking, how can I what does this look like with a 0.95 at this distance, and how can it have different colours and looks? So I've been trying to, maybe I'm just in the honeymoon phase, as I always am with these lenses. But I've just been looking at everyday objects that I wouldn't normally look at and thinking, I'll take a picture of that.
Yeah.
I wish it was a bit better minimal focal distance without the fogging close up. If it didn't have that, it'd be a gold star for me. So we also have the 35mm 0.95. We tested it at the same time.
We did,
but I didn't want to put it in the same video. It'd just be too
even more confusing.
Because they'd have different qualities and ability, so it's worth seeing that. So I hope this has been helpful, and are you interested, like I was, to try these 0.95 lenses? And do you think it's worth it for the extra bit of compression and experience of manual?
See you next time.
There you go.